In today's video, you're going to learn about 5 ways that most women try to quit alcohol and why one of those ways boldly stands out as the best. 4 of them are actually traps for women, and I know this because I personally came close to losing myself throughout all my trial and error. So let's jump right in, and perhaps this is something that you've already tried. Method 1 is moderating the amount of alcohol that we actually consume. And we do this because we think it's going to give us the transformation that we're looking for. You might be telling yourself that moderation is enough, but if I personally was going to be the best version of myself heading into this next phase of my life, which is 50 and above, I had to finally admit to myself that moderating was not going to cut it. Stay with me because I'm going to explain why. It takes a lot of mental energy to moderate and to bend the rules. One thing I personally found is that when you're wishy-washy, the people around you won't take your decision to try to quit alcohol seriously. Today, I'm going to open the floodgates to show you what I personally tested to embark on my own alcohol freedom journey. One of the methods coming up that I'm going to show you is actually what has been the gold standard since 1935. But the 5th one is a biological cheat code that stopped my cravings in their tracks in less than 5 minutes. And it's the only method that got me well past 365 days completely alcohol free. Let's say you go out to a bar with friends. It's likely that they're going to try to talk you into drinking more than you want to, when this was actually one of those nights where you told yourself that you weren't going to drink. The next minute, somebody you know or don't know hands you a drink, and at that point, it's probably just game over. You know, all it takes is that first drink, and you get that one hit of dopamine, and your brain has already been lit up. And now you find yourself on the alcohol is so amazing superhighway, and you're back at the bar, draining your bank account and your energy. I know what I'm about to tell you might feel impossible right now because I've been in this exact same position, and I want to tempt you with the truth of quitting alcohol completely. If I could use all that mental energy it took to navigate cutting back and to moderate, then why was I not putting that effort towards something that truly mattered and the one thing that I actually really wanted? And that was freedom from being ruled by alcohol and all the negative consequences of my drinking. But right before we get into the second method, I have a free resource that I want to share with you. Down in the description below, you're going to find my 5-day mini reset. The techniques I'm going to show you work in real time, and it's what I did to finally break free from my alcohol addiction and my debilitating anxiety. So method number 2 is part-time sobriety. For myself and the women I guided, we were committed to having a break from alcohol. And that was a certain period of time where we had total abstinence. Some women made it through the challenge and some women didn't. It's totally normal to fall off the wagon multiple times while you're on this journey. Number 3 is a tough one, and that's quitting cold turkey, not having a strategy or a plan. I'll just tell myself, I can stay sober tonight, I can do this. I was just going to battle my own willpower and use good versus evil to kick alcohol's butt. This was actually the most brutal method of all, and it set me up for total failure because we all know that willpower alone is not enough. But what I later discovered is that alcohol had completely hijacked my brain's reward system, and no amount of willpower could override what was taking place in my brain. That's the secret to my lasting freedom from alcohol addiction that I'm going to unpack for you in a minute. But first, there was something else that I tried, and that brings us to method number 4, which is I tried going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. When I walked into my first meeting, it was really apparent to me that I had to admit that I was an alcoholic and that I was powerless over my drinking, and that alcoholism was a lifelong disease with no cure. That didn't feel authentic to me. It didn't feel authentic to my experience and what I was going through at the time. The one thing during that season that I could control was leaning on red wine to get me through. I didn't get a DUI. I hadn't been drinking liters of vodka for 30 years. So labeling myself as powerless actually made me feel hopeless. I couldn't stand up in a room full of people and say something that felt inauthentic to my personal situation. And it actually turned out that my instincts were right. I wasn't a powerless alcoholic. I was actually way more powerful than I could have ever imagined. I can't believe that we're already at number 5. And that's the method that worked for me, and I'm positive that it can work for you too. But first, let me reveal that biological secret that I promised you. Did you know that alcohol actually dysregulates your nervous system? It keeps you stuck in a stress response that throws everything out of balance. like a scale that's actually tipping too much in one direction, which then makes you crave the very thing that's causing stress and fueling your anxiety. When I was constantly trying different things to find freedom from my addiction to alcohol, I discovered that at the very moment that a craving hit, not 5 minutes later, not the next day, but in that very moment, I could use 3 tools to interrupt the craving and regulate my own nervous system. If you're an ambitious woman and you're motivated to change your relationship with alcohol, finally there's a drug-free solution that will have you kicking alcohol for good and gain better mobility in your joints, mental clarity, and relaxation while you're doing it. So let's catapult our way into number 5 and tool number 1. And this is a signature method that I used when I started my alcohol freedom journey, and it's movement as medicine. So tool number 2 is second person self-talk. So let me give an example of second person self-talk. We're going to use a you statement rather than an I statement. So it's going to go something like this. Jaden, you're feeling stressed right now and you don't need wine. You just want relief. You're not going to feed your craving with alcohol. You're going to discover something new. So tool number 3 is box breathing. And let me show you how that works. You're going to inhale for 4. Hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold for 4. You're going to repeat this 3 to 4 times. And over time, what started out as days and then went into weeks and even months, my cravings became quieter and less intrusive. My dopamine system was starting to reset and my brain had begun to heal. And that, my friend, is how I finally broke free. What you need to understand is your nervous system and how to reset your dopamine and give yourself the tools on how to combat the cravings in the very moment that they're happening. And this is what having an alcohol freedom journey is all about. Before we finish up here in a minute, let me remind you about the free resource that I have for you. You're going to find it down in the description below. The techniques that I'm going to guide you on work in real time, and it's what I did to finally break away from my addiction to alcohol and my debilitating anxiety. If you're a mum that's struggling with a 3 p.m. wine habit and you know that deep down alcohol is stealing so much from you, you're still able to function, but you know that your drinking has gotten out of control, then you're in the right place. I'm creating a community of women that are done with the cycle and they're done with the shame and they're ready to move on and transform the rest of their life. If that's you, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. My movement as medicine is the deep resting squat, but I'd love it if you drop a comment below and tell me what is your favorite movement as medicine. I'm so glad that you've stuck it out with me until the end. This must mean that you're an ambitious woman who knows that you want to change your relationship with alcohol. I have something special for you, so join me right here in the next video and stay with me on your alcohol freedom journey.